Hi everyone, welcome to Cut and Sew Like a Pro Challenge community. My name is Susan Fawoimi, the CEO and Creative Director of Wow Culture and the head coach at Wow Fashion School. Now today I'm going to be answering some of your questions on the platform. So I'll start by answering to the person that asked, how many times does one lay out a cloth before applying measurement as allowance? Now, it depends on what you're cutting and the style you're cutting. Sometimes you can fold into 4, sometimes you can fold into 2. So I'll be showing you some examples so that you get a glimpse of what it means to fold. Now, for example, if I wanted to cut a skirt, just a basic skirt, and I'm cutting directly to my fabric, I'm just going to fold this way. I'll fold this way. Now, another thing you should consider when folding your fabric, your pattern on the fabric, so you don't lose shape. Now, this has like circles, so I'm going to be folding one of the circles to be at the middle. So if I want to cut my skirt, I always go by cutting the front first, then I'll use the front to now cut the back. So I'll fold into 2, because your measurements are taken, you divide by 4, so you're working with a quarter of your measurement. So once I fold this way, I will cut my waist, my hip, my knee, then this is the length of the cloth. So once I cut this, I now fold again and place the front on it and cut with zip allowance. And I can also do this, fold like this and fold. So I'm having the 4 parts. So that means front, the 2 part of the front and the 2 part of the back. For example, now I can have my back and front at once cut out. Okay, let's say this is I'll fold. I'll fold like this. So you see, I've created my zip allowance. So once I take my waist measurement, my hip measurement, my knee measurement, and get all the way to the down, it will look something like this. I will have my front and my back together. You can cut this way also. Now, for example, if you're cutting like a 6 pieces skirt, you know it has 6 parts. You cut it because you have your center front, your side back, and your center back. You will need to cut each piece. So the front will be 1 piece, cut on folds like this. So you cut that one first. You can't lay one on top of the other and cut at once, as in from the start. So once I get my front, I will now fold another piece. It now becomes 2. I will place my front on it and cut. So it depends on what you're cutting. That will determine how you're folding. But most times you tend to fold your clothes into 2 like this. And especially when you're working with paper, I can prepare my paper just 1 piece of each. Then I will fold my cloth and place my paper cut. I will now have 2 pieces on fold. As in, I'll have 2 pieces using my paper, which is 1 piece. So know when to fold to cut, especially when there's no joining in front. That is when you say you cut it on fold. So when you open it, it will have your full front. I hope this is clear. Then you talked about measurements, that how many inches to be added to the regular measurement. It also depends on what you're cutting. Now if I'm cutting my skirt, my basic skirt, I get my waist, I mark it. I will add my my seam allowance, and I'll add my dart allowance. You don't need to add more than that. Seam allowance of 1 inch or 1.5. So it's not needful for your allowance to be so much on the clothes. 1 to 1.5 inch works for skirt. It's when you're joining in between, then you need to add more to accommodate those joining in between. So if I add my dart and my seam allowance, I'll come to my hip, add just 1 inch allowance. So every other one will have 1 inch allowance. So you have to be sure on how you take your measurement, that you know your measurement is right, so you don't have an undersized garment. Now if you're cutting a free flowing dress, you can add as much as 4 inches. So that I say it depends on the type of garment that you're cutting. Now if I'm doing my 6-piece skirt, once I fold, I add just 1/2 inch in between to join them back. Then my seam allowance come also at the side. So it's not I won't say it's a general term, it just depends on what you are cutting and how big you want to cut. Then if you're cutting like a fitted bustier, what I do for mine, I add 3 inches at the bust, 2.5 at the waist, and 1.5 or 1 inch to removing my dart measurement. I'll add that to it. Now you can register for our online course. Every detail on what you ask is there, but I hope this helps if you already know how to sew. So you can register for our online course, or you can watch our YouTube channel to get more insight on this. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Now this is for the person that asked if the off-shoulder freehand method that I posted on YouTube had zip allowance. Yes, it does. You'll notice, okay, let me use from the book to illustrate. You'll notice I said add 2 inches. Then from the top you add 1 inch allowance. From the middle part, your nip to waist, you add 1/2 inch, and you use up the whole 2 at the down. So you connect it. So you have like a break and out here like this. Now what this does is that when you fix your zip, you now use 1 inch to fix your zip, so that when you fix your zip, it will avoid any gaping around the back, because the human body is not straight. Our back is this way. So this will help. This will help to do that. So for the person that requested for the fitted trouser, I'll be posting a video on the YouTube channel this night, so you can watch for the fitted trouser. Then also the invisible zipper, when I do the sewing, I'll post that video. Then for corset, gowns and tops, you have to register for our online course to get access to. In our online course, we have over 4 outfits that are corset, so different for gowns and for tops. So we have different ones, so you can enroll for the online course to have great insight on corset. But we'll be also posting some free videos on our YouTube channel. Then for fabrics, there are a lot of fabrics that are available. So we have okay, I'm going to collate a lot of fabric and do a video on that, then so that you can see and at least see the texture. Then we also, you said about sewing techniques. Now for the sewing technique, there are a lot of techniques. It depends on what you're sewing, but for starting or for starter, you can go and watch my video on how to sew neatly. You see a lot of sewing techniques on how you can sew neatly and how you can apply, because in sewing one garment there are different techniques. Even as to just fixing your zip, there are little technique that you need to use that brings out the best. Okay, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Now for the person that posted the video of the flare top and short, this is how it was achieved. With the look of things, it's a 180 flare. So what you do is that you fold this way. You fold like this. So you'll be getting this one now represents the front and back of one side. That is, there will be no joining at the side seam. Here we have your button, then here we have the half joining, that the remaining will now become the slit at the back. So just fold this way, then get your shoulder on this point. So put your tape here. Now you get your shoulder, assuming your shoulder is 16, just place it until you get 16, or you place it 1 inch less, rule a line like this, then come here and do your shoulder slope of 1.5 and connect. So you will now measure that it has gotten to, now this is the point that gets it, so connect it to 3 inches of your neck. Now because one side of this is your front and one side of this is your back, do your neck 3 by 3, or you measure your exact neck size and do it. You see, this is my front neck and this is my back, 3 by 1, my back neck. Then you come here, draw your armhole. Now what you do, come around here. Okay, first of all, get your armhole depth. Let's say I'm using 7.5, mark that point. Then come around here and get your shoulder measurement here also. So you connect from here and connect. So you have something like this. So what I'll do is cut the back first, then now cut the front. So you have, so just get the length, your desired length. So when you cut, here represents your zip. So you are going to bring in another fabric to do your flap area. Then here you join up to here to have that slit at the back. So that's like basically what to do. Then for the sleeve is also this type of fold. So after cutting this one, place and cut another one. So you now have joining in front and joining at the back. Then for the sleeve, you have this same fold. Just get your sleeve here, get the length of what you want. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.